My name is Sheila Bennett. I'm 32, and the night my parents told me, "You're not half the woman your sister is," something inside me quietly broke. That dinner wasn't just a family gathering. It was the funeral of the daughter they once claimed to love. What they didn't know was that the woman they'd humiliated was already building the kind of life they could only dream of. And soon they'd see exactly what half the woman can really do. If you've ever been underestimated by the people you loved most, hit that like button, because this story isn't just about revenge. It's about finally realizing your worth when the people who should have protected you are the ones tearing you down. Get ready, because by the end of the story, karma will come served hotter than the steak my dad bragged about that night. Until last year, I thought family loyalty meant sacrifice without question. I worked as a data analyst at a cybersecurity firm in Sacramento, stable job, good pay, decent apartment. But the part my parents never cared about was that for years, I'd been the silent safety net holding them all together. When Dad's construction company nearly went bankrupt in 2019, who stepped in with her savings? Me. When Mom's medical bills piled up after her surgery? Me again. When my younger sister Lori, the golden child and musical genius of the family, needed tuition for her violin degree in New York? Guess who took out a personal loan so she wouldn't drop out? Yeah. That'd be me too. At first, I didn't mind. I loved my family. I wanted them to be proud of me. But with every dollar I gave, it felt like their gratitude shrank and Lori's pedestal grew taller. Lori was the type of girl who could sneeze and get applause. At family gatherings, it was always, "Oh, Lori, play us something on your violin. Oh, Lori, you're so talented." And then me, the quiet, practical sister, was reduced to, "Sheila's good with numbers." Like that was my entire personality. But I ignored it. For years. I told myself love didn't need recognition. That helping them was enough. Until that one dinner, the night everything changed. It was a Saturday evening at my parents' house. Mom had made her signature pot roast, the one she only cooked when Lori visited from New York. The whole place smelled like rosemary and tension. Lori was back in town for a few days. And of course, the dinner was all about her. She barely sat down before Mom started. "Oh, Lori, your concert photos were stunning. You look like a real star." Dad chuckled, sipping his scotch. "She's going places, Helen. She's got that spark, not like some people who hide behind spreadsheets all day." I froze mid-bite. I knew exactly who he meant, but I smiled politely. "Glad you liked the pictures, Lori. How's New York treating you?" She smirked, tossing her blonde curls. "Busy. But I love it. My agent says I might get invited to perform in Italy next season." Mom gasped dramatically. "Italy? Oh, sweetheart, we have to go watch you." Then she turned to me and said with that soft, pitying tone, "You should really take some inspiration from your sister, Sheila. She's so brave, chasing her dreams." That's when Dad laughed and muttered under his breath, "Yeah, not half the woman Lori is." The fork slipped from my hand and hit the plate with a sharp clang. The room went dead silent. For a moment, I just stared at them. Was this really happening? After everything I'd done, every bill I'd paid, every loan I'd taken, every sleepless night worrying about their problems, this was how they saw me? I felt heat rush to my face, my chest tightening. I wanted to scream, to ask how they could say that. But instead, I swallowed the lump in my throat and whispered, "Half the woman, huh? Maybe that's all I ever needed to be." They laughed it off like it was nothing, brushing past the tension. But inside me, something shifted. It wasn't just anger, it was awakening. The kind that makes you see every memory in new light. Every thank you that sounded hollow. Every favor that came with a hidden expectation. That night, when I drove home, I couldn't stop replaying everything I'd done for them. The time I canceled my vacation to pay Dad's overdue property taxes. The time I skipped my promotion celebration dinner because Mom called crying about Lori's rent. The countless times I told myself, it's family. They'll appreciate it someday. But that someday never came. Instead, they built their happiness on my silence. And that silence, the one they mistook for weakness, was about to end. The next morning, I woke up early. I brewed my coffee, opened my laptop, and stared at my account summary. $42,000 in savings. Enough for a reset, enough to start over. For the first time in my life, I realized I didn't owe anyone my peace. Not even my parents. Not even my sister. That day, I drafted a plan, not for revenge yet, but for freedom. I applied for a senior position at a tech firm in Sacramento. I reached out to a realtor about renting a downtown loft. And I decided that from that point forward, no one in my family would get another dollar, another favor, or another excuse from me. 1 week later, Lori called. "Sheila, Mom said your bonus came in. Can you help with the deposit for my Italy trip?" I almost laughed. 4 years, I would have said yes before she even finished asking. But this time, I simply replied, "Sorry, Lori. I'm done funding other people's dreams. You'll figure it out." She sounded shocked. "Wow, that's cold." I smiled to myself. "No, Lori, that's growth." And with that single word, growth, I hung up. It felt like closing a chapter I'd been stuck in for too long. But little did I know, my silence that day would trigger the storm that changed everything. Because soon my family's world, the one they built on my sacrifices, was about to come crashing down. And this time, I wouldn't be there to save them. The weeks after that call were eerily quiet. No good morning, texts from Mom, no guilt-laced phone calls from Dad. Just silence, the kind that tells you've finally disrupted the pattern. For the first time in years, I focused solely on me. I started my new job at Ardent Tech as a senior data analyst. The office overlooked the Sacramento skyline, glass walls, warm light, a place that felt like freedom. My team respected me. My boss actually valued my ideas. I'd never realized how much emotional weight I'd been carrying until I felt it lift. But back at my parents' house, things weren't as peaceful. It started small. Mom texted one evening, "Sheila, I know you're busy, but Lori's apartment lease fell through. Any chance you could help her find a new place?" I replied politely, "She's capable, Mom. She'll figure it out." That simple message triggered a chain reaction. A day later, Dad called. His tone wasn't calm this time. "Sheila, your mother's upset. You're acting different. You think money makes you better than us now." I took a slow breath. "No, Dad. It just means I finally understand my limits." He scoffed. "You've changed. You're cold." "Maybe. But being warm only ever burned me." Click. He hung up. By week 3, Lori's mask began to slip too. She posted a tearful story on Instagram, something about family turning their backs when you need them most. Her friends flooded the comments with sympathy, calling me heartless. It hurt at first. I'd spent years being the nice one. But I reminded myself, niceness had cost me thousands of dollars and countless tears. Respect cost silence, and I was finally rich in it. Then came the inevitable, their crisis. Dad's construction business took another financial hit. Apparently, an unpaid loan resurfaced, and this time, there was no Sheila safety net. Mom called me at work, voice trembling. "Sheila, they're going to take the house if we don't pay soon. Please, honey, just this once." Her, "just this once," was always the start of another cycle. I closed my office door, exhaled, and said softly, "Mom, I love you, but I can't keep saving everyone. I'm not your backup plan anymore." There was silence, the kind that weighs more than shouting. Then a whisper, "You've really become cruel." When the call ended, I leaned back and stared out the window. Cruel. That's what they called boundaries when they came from me. But while they painted me as heartless, I watched quietly as their choices caught up with them. Dad's reputation in town fell apart. Mom's social circle turned cold. And Lori, the star of the family, started canceling gigs and posting cryptic, taking a break messages. They'd spent years treating me like I was half the woman Lori was. Now, they were realizing I'd been the one holding the whole family together all along. And they hadn't even seen real revenge yet. That part was still to come. 3 months passed. I hadn't visited my parents once. I still checked their social media occasionally, though, not out of care but curiosity. Lori's posts grew darker. Her once perfect feed of violins and champagne brunches was now filled with quotes about fake family and jealous sisters. It was pathetic, but I let her have her pity stage. Until one Friday night, everything changed. I got a call from an unknown number. It was Lori, sobbing. "Sheila, please, I need you. My car got repossessed, my credit's wrecked, and my agent dropped me. I have nothing left." I felt that old instinct, that ache to help, rise up again. But before I could respond, she added through sniffles, "Mom said if you weren't so selfish, none of this would have happened." There it was, the trigger. Even now, when their lives crumbled under their own arrogance, they blamed me. I hung up, calmly. No yelling, no guilt. Just a cold, decisive silence. That weekend, Mom invited me to what she called a family dinner to reconcile. Part of me hesitated. Maybe she really wanted to make things right. Against my better judgment, I went. When I arrived, Lori looked miserable, hair unkempt, eyes swollen from crying. Mom greeted me with a brittle smile, Dad with a grunt. The air smelled like forced peace and fake forgiveness. We sat down. Dad cleared his throat. "Sheila, your mother and I have been thinking. Maybe it's time you step up again. You're the only one doing well right now." I blinked. "Step up? As in?" He leaned back casually. "Help Lori get back on her feet. She's had a rough time, you know. Maybe pay off her debt so she can start fresh." Mom chimed in. "It's the least you can do. After all, you're the responsible one." I stared at them in disbelief. The least I could do? The least after years of paying their bills, losing my savings, and being told I wasn't half the woman my sister was? My chest tightened, my pulse hammering. I stood up, slowly. "You know what, you're right. I am the responsible one. And that's why I'm finally done being responsible for people who never learned accountability." Lori's eyes widened. "You can't just abandon us, Sheila. We're family." I met her gaze, calm, steady. "Family doesn't mean using someone until they break. You already buried that word the day you let them insult me." I walked out before they could say another word. That night, something snapped inside me, not from pain but clarity. They didn't need help. They needed consequences. And for the first time, I was ready to give them exactly that. My revenge wouldn't be loud. It would be precise. And by the time it was done, they'd finally see who the real woman in this family was. I spent the next few weeks in silence, but this time, it wasn't avoidance. It was strategy. Revenge, I learned, doesn't always come from fury. Sometimes, it's born from perfect timing. Through years of working as a data analyst, I had learned how to spot patterns, financial ones, emotional ones, human ones. And my family's pattern was simple. They took, I gave. So I decided to reverse it. I started by cutting them off completely, not just emotionally, but financially, socially, and digitally. New number, new address, new everything. Then I did something none of them saw coming. I bought out a small but promising analytics startup in Sacramento, the same one that used to handle my father's company's bookkeeping years ago. Guess who their biggest overdue client was? Bruce Bennett Construction. Dad's company. When I checked the records, I saw years of unpaid invoices and hidden tax mishaps. The same things I'd quietly fixed before to save his reputation. But this time I didn't fix them. I highlighted every discrepancy, professionally and ethically, and forwarded them to the local audit board, anonymously. No lies, no exaggeration. Just truth, with impeccable timing. Within 2 months, the board launched an investigation. My father's company was fined heavily. His partners pulled out. And his reputation, gone faster than his whiskey collection. As for Lori, her star career had already been wobbling, but now it collapsed completely. Turns out, the sponsors backing her concert series had seen those same viral family dinner videos I'd leaked to a private online group for professionals. Clips of her mocking me, laughing as my parents compared us. A few sympathetic viewers spread it online. Suddenly, her image as a humble artist shattered. Her agent severed ties. Her name trended for all the wrong reasons. Mom tried calling me. Dozens of times. Voicemails filled with anger, guilt trips, and eventually pleading. "Sheila, we're ruined. Everyone's turning against us. Please, you've made your point. Just help us, honey." But there was no satisfaction in gloating. My revenge wasn't about watching them crumble. It was about reclaiming the power they took from me. So instead of responding, I made one public post, a simple statement on my professional LinkedIn. Sometimes walking away isn't cruelty. It's clarity. The moment you stop saving those who enjoy drowning is the moment you finally learn to breathe. The post went viral. Thousands of women commented, sharing their own family betrayal stories. For the first time, my pain wasn't isolating, it was empowering. My family's downfall wasn't because of me. It was because of what they did when they thought I'd never fight back. And that was the sweetest part of revenge. They destroyed themselves using the same arrogance that once destroyed me. 6 months later, I was sitting on the balcony of my new apartment, sunlight spilling over the Sacramento skyline, a mug of coffee in my hand. For the first time in years, the silence felt peaceful. Not empty, earned. My phone buzzed. A news alert. Bruce Bennett Construction officially shuts down after financial investigation. I read it without a smile, without bitterness, just closure. I'd spent so long waiting for an apology that I didn't realize I'd stopped needing one. That same week, Lori posted a long message online about healing and accountability. She mentioned how losing everything made her realize how cruel she'd been. No name, but everyone knew who she was talking about. And then she sent me a text. "Sheila, I'm sorry. I was jealous. You were everything I pretended to be. I hope someday you can forgive me." For a moment, I just stared at it, the words I never thought I'd see. But forgiveness, I'd learned, isn't about letting people back in. It's about letting go of the weight they left behind. So I typed back simply, "I already have. Take care of yourself, Lori." Then I blocked her. Not out of spite, out of peace. As months rolled by, I poured my energy into my new company. It grew fast, partnerships, awards, respect. People who once dismissed me now sought my advice. And sometimes, when new interns asked how I'd made it, I'd just smile and say, by finally realizing I didn't need anyone's permission to succeed. That family dinner used to haunt me. Now it fuels me. Because in that single cruel sentence, "You're not half the woman your sister is," they accidentally told the truth. I wasn't half. I was whole. Whole enough to build, rebuild, and rise without their approval. I guess that's the beauty of revenge done right. It stops being about them. It becomes about rediscovering you. One rainy evening, I drove past my parents' old house. The "For Sale" sign leaned crooked in the yard. The windows were dark, the porch cracked. Once that house was my home, full of laughter, noise, and expectations that crushed me. Now it was just another story I'd outgrown. I rolled down my window, took one last look, and whispered, "Half the woman, huh?" Then I smiled. Guess half was still more than enough. The rain blurred the view as I drove off, and with it, the last remnants of who I used to be. Some people call what I did revenge. I call it redemption, because real revenge isn't about ruining others. It's about refusing to let them ruin you anymore. When you choose peace over guilt, success over shame, and self-worth over approval, that's when you truly win. If this story hit home for you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that walking away isn't weakness, it's strength. Tell me in the comments. Speech balloon, have you ever had to let go of toxic family to protect your peace? I read every comment, and your stories matter more than you think. Until next time, this is Revenge Storm, reminding you, sometimes the best revenge is finally choosing yourself.